In our games, we always want to draw players deep into the story, into the lore, to let them be able to hear the sounds going around them, to see where they are, to allow the story to be so immersive that they can put themselves in the role and the place of their character. That allows them to then begin brainstorming and working as their character, to work on all of those soft skills that huge companies like Google are looking at and looking for, while having fun and it being a game. Now, providing that immersive experience is incredibly difficult, but fortunately there's software like Foundry that makes that a lot easier. Foundry is currently in early beta. That being said, it still has a lot of amazing features. This is a server that I've set up, and I'll include a link to for anyone who wants to poke through themselves. It just has some of the very basic features up and running. So you see that as soon as I clicked into the player view, I started hearing from the point of view of this one person. As that person were to move around, the sound will increase or decrease based on whether they're getting closer or further away from the nexus point, the origin point of the sound. So as we get close to that river, we're hearing more of those waterborne bugs, and if you listen very carefully, you actually hear the river flowing in the background. Now, to make this immersive, we also don't want our players to have to worry too much about looking up the rules and all sorts of books. So we want them to be able to have their spells at a quick reference. It's very easy to roll your attacks and your damage, and they can then be applied. So I don't have any well, let's fix that. Let's give a monster. Monsters are as easy to add as dragging and dropping, and it's as easy to apply damage as clicking on them to target them, and click and apply damage. That being said, only the Game Master can apply damage and healing to everyone. The player is going to be limited to only being able to apply damage and healing to themselves. Under the inventory, we're going to have all sorts of other things, like if they wanted to roll a check using the chess set. It's automatically using intelligence there, and it's programmed to work well and smoothly. Or if they were going to fire an attack with their light crossbow. It's designed to take a lot of the weight off of our shoulders so we can focus on the gameplay itself. I have a mod turned on right now that allows us to even have down and up arrows to be using up their spell slots. And of course, when you take a long rest, it's going to give those back to you. So it takes care of a lot of the busy work to allow us to focus on our game. And we see that there are a decent amount of characters here to start, but that's just a fraction, a tip of the iceberg. I'm using level 3s, but you can use whatever level you want. And we've made 51 pre-made characters of each level here available for you to be able to just grab. And by grab, I mean right click and click import. The Game Master needs to do that when the players are interested in one. And they show up over here. At which point we have access to all of their abilities. All of their inventory. And you're seeing a lot of these have the mystery man face instead of the actual pictures. It's because we're still very early on. We're adding as much pictures and optimization as we can. But it's a slow process because I'm also taking breaks to make maps and add these sound effects and all sorts of other fun stuff. As they progress, they'll be looking more and more like the Barbarian. The Barbarian's a bit further in our optimization, but he still has a lot of work to do as well. So like when we take a look at the Barbarian, you can see that his feat abilities in here all have nice images on them. Which is nice, but we still have a lot more to do his, that'd be from his Berserker, and also to do all of these other things. One of the cool things is because these are procedurally generated from a virtual tabletop neutral core data, that means whenever I improve the optimization for any of these, for any of the abilities or things like that, the next update, the compendium will be fixed. And that's what we were looking at over here. So in the future, you'll be able to just load in the next level up and it'll have all of the new coding as we have those ready to be released and added. And this is cool and all, but fighting is only the tip of the iceberg. Let's bounce over to Mansion 1, because there's also exploration and puzzles. They're really fascinating. I enjoy a lot. So Foundry now allows us to do fun, odd patterns that shows exactly how you're moving. You just hold control and you click for each node, and when you have it like you want it, you hit space and you move through that pattern. That's important because Foundry does not like you. As a game master, it's going to let me. If I was a player, oh, good. It's not going to allow me to do that even as a game master. So we need to actually specify that we use that door. I'm going to move us up and into this next room. And we can see that this first one is grayed out slightly. That's because it's a hidden actor that only the game master can see, the players cannot. If we double click on that, that's actually going to be the answer to this riddle down here that's next to the locked door. Now, it's kind of clunky and we're putting them in actors for now, but again, we're using a procedural generation so that when we have a way to take journal entries and pin them to the map, we'll be able to replace those with journal entries that are much sleeker and won't have all of this health and other stuff, because riddles don't need any of that information. It's just the only way we can put on the map for now, and so that's what we're doing. So we can see that this dungeon is already filled with a bunch of puzzles, a bunch of doorways, and those doorways, we have the regular door like we were walking through. Green is open, blue is just a regular door that is still closed, red is a locked door that the game master is going to have to unlock for players to be able to get through. Hence, in this case, they need to finish up this riddle before they can go through that door. Now they can always back up and go another way. There's monsters, of course, to fight. Purple doors are doors that only the game master can see. So these are the hidden doors that the rogue is looking for to be able to sneak through. So the goal of this particular dungeon is to make it to one of the exits. There are 4 easy ones for them to get out of. I say easy, they're all locked, so the players are going to have to get a bit creative to get through them. Maybe a knock spell, maybe they combine a bunch of abilities to get over the threshold damage to destroy the door. It's kind of up to you what you're going to allow them to get out those doors. But of course, if you just walk down the hallway and leave, you're not going to get anything significant. And there's going to be other maps, like the Mansion 2, instead of it being an escape dungeon like that one, this is an actual mansion here. And we can see that if we select someone, as in the wall drawing section, if we select someone, we can actually walk around the mansion and look in the windows. So you can use your control click options to do that, or you can use the arrow keys, or you can even use the number pad so you can move diagonally as well. Being able to go around and open doors is really cool, in my opinion. It's kind of different than what a lot of other tabletops do. I've done a lot with Fantasy Grounds, but the ability to have sound effects that are placed on the map and the ability to have these movements, I think that, especially with the lighting, I think that Foundry has a lot to offer here. So this is just one of several maps. If we look back into the scene section, we can see that Mansion has the ground floor on, has a first floor going up, and the tower even above that. Also has a basement. So I could just activate this. And that's going to force the players to all look at the basement. Basement shows that pool goes underground a bit, but they also come down this staircase. So if we were on the ground floor, we could just go to the box tool and highlight them. Go Control C, down to the basement, put the hover where we want it, and there they come in to keep exploring. You can see locked doors here, open door there, and it's just a cool place to investigate and explore. So there's a lot of options here. We can see over in Compendium, we have a lot of options coming in. So we've loaded only a fraction of the battle maps that are prepared here. We have everything from taverns to roads to bridges. to this house, and I'm writing more and adding more stuff in. The sound effects that we see on the bridge crossing, this is something brand new I had not done before, and I'm still learning how to do it. For the first 2 background soundtracks that I've made, it's not bad. We have the forest sounds you're hearing when you're away, and then you have the river sounds when you get close, and hopefully as I keep progressing in skill, those will get better and better. So the goal is to have all of the battle maps have sounds. Equipment we can already open up and search for longsword and other things like that. Long term, we'd love to have high quality images for all of these, and to have, well, for the most part, if it's a weapon, it's already going to have its optimization code done, where you could just click on it and be able to do the attack rolls and damages and things like that. The Epic Dungeon is a huge 5x5 dungeon that would take forever to get through all of. You're welcome to use that if you'd like. I was trying something a bit unusual with it, doing a wall-less dungeon where all of the walls are only in Foundry, and so you're using your dynamic lighting to decide where the walls are. Something that I thought was cool, but in the forums and other places I've shown it off, people are like, that's crazy, and so I've kind of stopped working on it. We also have a ton of riddles. So I'm pulling, in this case, from Conundrums, Riddles, and Puzzles, which is 150 years old. It's in the public domain. And that's where I pulled all of these in from. I'm planning on working with additional books as well that are in the public domain, as well as writing my own, and really trying to flesh this out so you have at your fingertips a bunch of different ones you can do. We have this spell browser that my friend Felix made. He did a great job of it. It allows you to sort the spells by level and class and school. This is a separate module extension you have to download from the website, but it's pinned there on the Foundry forums, so it's relatively easy to find, and you can always ask where it is. The cool thing about being able to sort things like this is it means that as I learn how to do this type of JavaScript, we'll be able to write similar things for like the monsters. Wouldn't it be awesome to be able to sort, so I'm only looking at the CO2s that live in caverns, or those things that do fire damage, or immune to psychic. There's a lot of potential here in this software that when we were back in Fantasy Grounds, we just didn't have the option to add those in near as easily. So yeah, that's the basics of what all we have here. You could see that there's still a lot of work to be done. We have all of, under items, 60 different backgrounds for you to choose from. That being said, none of these are official. So the biggest publishers released a lot of content, but we cannot legally add anything except what they've included in one document known as the system reference document. We have everything in that document here, so like the Path of the Berserker that you'd be very familiar with, because it's canonical, it's everywhere. That being said, those choices aren't really enough to run a long-term game, and so we've been adding and homebrewing and writing a bunch of stuff, rebalancing stuff from sources we're allowed to add, and we have a lot in here, including some new classes that we're just starting to alpha test. Huge amount of feats, and a bunch of races and sub-races. So if we go into dwarfs, we'll see that we have a bunch of new dwarf sub-races, but we also have brand new races as well. It's been a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed everyone I've gotten to work with throughout this whole process. So if this is looking like something you'd enjoy, you can head on over to Foundry on Patreon to get it. And the cool thing is that all you need is this $5 tier, the Beta Explorer, and that's going to give you a download that you get to keep. And it has what you were looking at over here, plus the free extensions. Now the content then is over on our own, which again, all you need is, let's see, the Wormling. So there's still several slots left there that you can get. And that includes the VTT content. Now these are going to run out relatively soon because it's a limited number of slots. But even long term, we have the Wormling here at $5 a month. So you can get it now a bit cheaper. There's even a few options left. Just a very few, only 3 left of the adult dragons, which are the alpha testers. And there's a few additional things they get for being early adopters and getting in here at the ground level. And of course, you can pay much, much more to unlock those even once those limited slots are gone. Thank you guys for all of the encouragement. Thank you for all of the feedback. You've been telling me a lot about what you want. It's been fun to be plugging that in. We've come a long way. We have a lot further to go. And hopefully you'll join in and we can build this together. God bless you all and have a great evening. Bye.